Big Ed from 90 Day Fiance has a new lady friend, and she came on this channel for an exclusive interview. And oh my god, you guys, it was so bizarre, so crazy, and so good. So let's not waste any time and just jump right on into this interview. Today we are joined with Liz Ed Browns. Yes, the Big Ed from 90 Day Fiance, now 90 Day Fiance, The Single Life. She is technically, I guess you could say, his lady friend, somewhat, sort of. Liz, how are you doing? Thank you so much for coming on the channel.
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. This is just weird talking to you, honestly. I get all starstruck and weird. I'm used to seeing you on my TV, so thank you so much for coming on. A bunch of people have been reaching out. They've been wanting to hear from you. They want to hear everything, how you met Ed, what you think of Ed, what Ed's really like behind the camera. So I don't want to waste your time. I know you are incredibly busy. Let's just jump right into this one. I'm curious, how did you come across Ed? For those that don't know, how did you meet him? What were your initial thoughts? Can you kind of share that with us?
So I met Ed at my restaurant in Contro in North Park here in San Diego. He would come in all the time just to hang out. We're on a very popular intersection. I never really spoke to him much. I was constantly working every single day, though. It's during a pandemic. Nobody wanted to come to work. I picked up a ton of hours. And he was there like four days out of the week hanging out. Ultimately, I would cut people, and then I'd become like moving from manager to serving and multitasking everything throughout the whole restaurant. And then every day I just kept seeing him. I knew his order. I'd put it in. He knew who I was because I was always working when he was there. I would actually bring my daughter to work with me during the pandemic too. So I didn't actually know who Ed was when I met him.
So you didn't watch 90 Day Fiance before this?
I've never seen 90 Day Fiance. I did this show without watching a single episode of 90 Day Fiance. His season.
You're kidding.
I swear by it.
Okay, so wait, so this guy just approaches you, and what does he say? I'm Big Ed?
Yeah, I mean, he does that to everybody.
No, I thought you knew him from the show. You never even heard of this guy before?
Nope. I mean, I've seen like memes and stuff on social media, but that's about it. Like everybody knows him, and my daughter, she's going to be 8. She actually knew who he was, and I didn't know who he was. And my daughter would come to work with me, poor baby, how we were doing like 10-hour shifts during this time. But she would come to work with me, and she watched the show with my roommate. And the only time I've ever seen Ed on TV was when I was walking out of my room to the kitchen to get water. And I was like, it was like a post office scene with him and Rose. And I was like, oh, I was at that UPS this morning. How cool. And I walked back to my room. That is the most I've ever seen him on TV. But my daughter was the one who actually knew who he was. And I knew who he was over time coming into the restaurant, but I never really had conversation. I'm running the restaurant. I'm taking care of a child. Like I didn't really have time to mingle with anybody. Over time, though, we started picking up small conversation. I found out exactly who he was. We would just kind of just talk more conversation. I was getting out of a relationship at this time too, so very respectful towards that. And him and I just kind of just started talking more. When he would leave, he would come in and say bye to me, or he'd make it a point to say bye. Or I definitely got to the point where he was such a regular. I'm like, here's your check, cash out.
Yeah.
Like restaurant closes at 10. We all want to go home. So the dynamics definitely changed after a while. And we kind of just became buddies after that.
Interesting. So when you first really got comfortable with him, did you ever look at him like, oh, wow. We don't have to get too personal, but I'm just curious. Did you ever look at him and say, wow, he's a really handsome, attractive guy? Or do you always see him as just like a friend, just a goofy kind of a friend?
Definitely. I have to be careful how I word any of these like answers. So there's a lot of I was not looking for anything whatsoever. I was just getting out of a relationship. Over time, we just had this amazing friendship, and there is so much that is not aired. So our whole friendship, our whole relationship that's building or not building. There's so much that is not shown on TV. And we just became super, super, super close. Looks are not an issue for me. Homeboy has a lot of freaking charm.
Was the age awkward because he's a lot older than you?
The age isn't, I don't know. I actually we're 6 episodes in or 7 episodes in? Okay, so here's something too, is I still haven't really seen our episodes. I actually just skimmed through the episodes not maybe about a week ago. But when I skim through them or I read the screen rants, I filmed it. I know what they're showing and airing, but I just skimmed through all of them not too long ago, like about a week ago. I saw that I did bring it up that it could be a factor, which I think it could have in the beginning because there's a huge age gap. And I know that Ed hasn't had a relationship in many since the year I was born. And I've also been married twice and divorced. So I have experience of, relationships not going so well.
Right.
But so for that, when I really think about it, I think it was more about the experience that was going to trouble me versus more of the age. And then we start talking about his daughter's age, and I'm trying to put myself in her shoes. So I don't want to say age is, a conflict with that, but I definitely wasn't expecting to go on dates with someone that much older than me. But it definitely, he balances me out. I am so uptight, At that time, I was definitely working like 60 plus hours a week.
Wow. Holy crap.
And then I have my daughter full time during the summer. So it was a lot for me to take on in the pandemic. And I'm moody. I'm a Gemini. He's a Taurus. But so it's just, when it came down to age, eventually it left my mind, and he balances me out in one way and I balance him out in another way.
Okay, so I don't know if you've seen him in present day 90 Fiance, him and Rose, but a lot of my followers, they didn't like Ed's attitude. They thought he was kind of stuck up and kind of rude and not nice. I'm curious what you think behind the scenes when the cameras aren't there. What's he really like?
So I did watch his episodes a little bit ago. Mind you, I haven't watched anything till way after we were done filming. So, and I can't give the timeline on when we filmed. But again, I didn't see anything till after. I have watched it recently. Some things I definitely see is the lack of experience, the way they treated each other, not, some things I don't disagree with what Ed said or Rose said. I just think some things like when you have a camera in your face, it's different. I'm not saying that was for the camera. I'm just saying, like, when you talk about your feelings like that with the camera, I'm not I don't know. He can have those conversations, but I just don't think it should have been for the whole world to see. The difference between Ed and I is I can be kind of mouthy and be like, well, I'm not shaving my legs. Deal with it. Like, it's different. I don't know. When it comes to him outside of the cameras and stuff like that, he is definitely a great guy.
Wow.
Yeah. He's great. He's very charismatic. My daughter loves him. So again, that's not even leading to like what's going on now in our lives or anything like that. But I can definitely say he's a great guy. Took a lot of refocusing him for his attention to be on me when we're out in public. Like everything else needs to.
Interesting. Yeah, because on TV, he kind of has that almost, I don't want to use the word narcissist, but he kind of has that, he's kind of full of himself, kind of cocky vibe that some people get. But that's interesting that you said that.
I'm not going to disagree.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Everything is edited to a very, like, there's just so much more. Like, I know I come off pretty just like not into him and everything like that, but nobody knows that I'm working 60 hours a week. I'm giving all my spare time. I'm exhausted. I'm tapped out. I'm very introverted, and Ed's extremely extroverted. And a lot of people can see that and use that and belittle us and, you know, take advantage of their harsh words. And so yeah, I can tell you the one scene that I did see when we're sitting in my backyard where they made him look way worse than what that conversation was. There were two girls sitting at me at that table with my coworkers. Like, they don't show that, you know, they don't show the timeline of anything really. It's a lot of it's drama created, and but I'm still not going to say Ed's not jealous, but I'm also going to say Ed and I are really good at talking things out.
Yeah. And now we're talking about talking things out and jealousy and awkwardness and everything. I do want to kind of touch on the scene we've all been waiting for. It already airs, we can talk about it. And that's when Ed went in for the peck on the lips and you kind of went the other way and denied him. I'm just so freaking curious. What was going through your head during that situation?
I can't, oh gosh, I can't exactly share that whole thing, that whole scene. But I was definitely caught off guard, completely caught off guard. I wasn't offended or anything. I was just so scared at the fact that I flinched, that completely ruined like the feelings that we were the feelings that I was building for him, not so much him, me. I'm still protecting my heart. I'm still guarded. I'm still knowing that he's in the light, like he's in the entertainment, like he's known. I was kind of shocked that I flinched that hard, but that clip made gold. And I was bawling my eyes out outside. People don't see that. I was like, what did I do? Like,
Well, so what were you thinking? Were you just like, did you feel bad that you denied him on camera, or what was going through your head?
We are so relaxed when the cameras are not around. And this is new to me, really new to me. So it's very uncomfortable for me. And, having those many cameras, it's so uncomfortable. So yeah, maybe it had to do with the camera. I didn't think I would have dodged that hard. And again, I didn't see it coming. And I should have, but the conversation that we had right before that was me reiterating, let's take it slow. Like, like, I just met your mom. Like, so yeah, it just wasn't the right time.
Yeah. Interesting. So yeah, God, I can't believe you haven't seen the episode. So right now, the last episode we saw of Single Life is when you guys go to his friend's wedding. You get to the hotel.
Yeah.
And so they had
I'd like to clear that up. That is my friend and my coworker's wedding.
Oh.
So we both had our own invites, and this is before we're starting to actually date. That we just decided we were going to go together, and then a relationship started building. But yes, no, she's both of our friends.
Well, that got missed because Ed was explaining in his confessional that it was his friend.
She is his friend. But I'd like to make it clear that's my coworker too. Okay. Wow. That's my coworker and my friend. So I had my own invite.
Yeah. So you guys go to the rest area of the gas station. He gets a call supposedly from the hotel that they, instead of having 2 beds, they have 1. I don't know why he didn't just, hand you the phone and say, here, you're probably going to think I'm lying, but here is the person at the hotel. What were you thinking when he said they only had 1 bed instead of 2?
Well, that's Ed.
Yeah.
That's Ed. And I was getting out of the car. I really had to use the restroom. Homeboy is a chatterbox. So I just wanted to stretch. Like, we had great conversation. We were laughing up there. We got in a couple tidbits up there, but I was just ready to get out of the car. I had to use the restroom. Mind you, we have a whole camera crew following us. So we all needed to just chill for a second. So he did take that call when I was out of the car. I wasn't thinking anything to it. When I did hear them call, I'm like, okay, like we are hours past our check-in, and it was a sold out venue where we were staying because there was 3 weddings that weekend. So I didn't think anything of it. Prior up to going to Arrowhead, we did talk about if we just wanted to switch our beds and stuff. At this point, we're definitely talking about, are we going to try to make this work or not? Again, we have so much time to hang out without the cameras there. And so when I found out that the beds were switched, I was a little bit annoyed just because I didn't know what was for what. Like what, I don't know if he did it. I know that there were people already at the hotel waiting our arrival. I just didn't know. And I analyzed everything.
Well, I was going to ask you that next. So it looked like, and it could be the camera, but it did look like you were just getting sick and tired of the guy never shutting up. Is that actually kind of how it was?
Yeah. It depends. This is definitely in the beginning when we're really, really, really hanging out. So he's very anxious and nervous, and I'm just very, he hates it. He says, I hate when you're so quiet and you just stare at me. And I'm like, well, I just hate how you're just not like, shh. Like, so it's there's one factor to another, but yeah, he loves to talk.
Well, I saw you're a Gemini. What is a Taurus? Is there compatibility with that?
So but my daughter's a Taurus too. Oh. So yeah, they're super, super, super affectionate. And it could have just been me at this time. Again, getting out of a relationship and stuff, I'm just very careful on like who I give my heart to and everything like that. So, needy's definitely not the word I like to use. Just, I'm super excited and I'm kind of just still being very cautious. And he definitely, he wants to be known that like he's being like appreciated with his time and stuff like that. These are things that I'm learning or I have learned. I was so blindsided to this and like if I would have just kind of stopped being in my own element of being guarded. But yeah, they are not the best being compatible with each other, but we actually at the hotel, we were talking about the love languages all the way for a chunk up to the wedding. We were taking our love language test in the hotel. Like we were trying to learn about each other's love languages because we are completely different.
Wow. See, that's interesting because none of that stuff got, added on to the show. When I watch you guys, I hate this is probably going to sound rude, but it comes off to me like you're just being a nice friend, you're being polite, you're being nice to Ed. And it seems like Ed really wants a relationship and you're kind of just like, look, I have no interest, I'm just being your friend, and that is that. But it sounds like you had more interest than what we really got to see on camera.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it did take some time, a little bit of time, and we definitely and it took me a while to even be on board with doing this show, which is another reason why I have a hard time watching things, because I just know how people are on social media. And the less I watch, the less I the more that none of that is going to hurt me. And that's another reason why. Also going into this with Ed, I didn't want to know his past relationship with Ed. I didn't mind. We talked about it, but I didn't need to judge him for what was shown on TV. I'm going to know Ed. Now, here's the other thing. There's Ed and there's Big Ed. I'm getting to know Ed. So that's where I was very adamant on getting to know who he was. So yeah, no, we definitely got to know each other a lot. With I get how I'm being portrayed. My friends and family tell me.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear. But so it's like you guys get to the hotel, he's joking around, you get to the one room, he gets you champagne, one thing leads to another. I'm so freaking curious now. Are you kind of getting swayed by this guy in a romantic way? Like, what are you thinking right now?
See, this is some things that I know about Ed that was not. He can be pretty romantic. He's very sweet. I I know what it was like building up to, and he, oh gosh, yeah, he's a romantic. He's a very huge romantic.
So that wasn't just the producers got in the strawberries and the champagne and everything. He's actually that kind of a romantic kind of a guy?
Yeah, I'm definitely producers had some part in that. But yeah, that's exactly how he is. I wish I can share so much more, but
I know.
yeah, he's great. He putting myself into this timeline where we filmed this, we would be texting each other constantly, FaceTime at night, FaceTime in the morning, good night text. Like let me tell you, that scene after the kiss, I was crying so hard because I'm like, did I just like ruin everything that we're trying to build between us? Like he's a huge romantic. He loves to cook. My absolute favorite times are when he does cook. And I did see that clip where I'm like, I still want you to cook, and because we enjoyed doing that.
Well, hey, before we sign off, I don't want you to say yes or no. I just want to say this just so I can, maybe we can come back, maybe you can come back on if you want to in a couple months and we can laugh about this idea. I want to make one prediction, actually kind of two. I'm going to predict that either he's going to propose and you guys are engaged, kind of a long shot, and I'm also going to predict that you guys are now just friends and not together. Because I just have a feeling, I don't know, but God, when we see it on camera, I feel like it just, I don't know, I don't see it working. But we're going to have to wait and see how it all plays out. But I really appreciate you coming on. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. This is great.
Awesome. Well, Liz, I found you, and I'm not even going to tell you how me/my roommate found you on social media because you are staying very, very low-key, but we did find you. And for anyone that wants to give you a follow, what is your Instagram? I'll put a link above below this video, but what is your Instagram? They can give you a follow, show you some love.
Yeah, I don't know how soon I'll allow my followers to come on, but it's the letter E_92_Marie.
Awesome. Well, hey, once the season's done, maybe we can have you come back on and do some kind of chat about everything. Awesome. Well, hey, Liz, I really appreciate you coming on and hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.
All right, y'all, I don't know about you, but I thought that interview was very, very, very fun. I cannot believe that this Liz lady actually likes Ed. I thought for sure she was just, I don't want to use the word using him, but I thought she was just being nice, and she probably figured, hey, I'll be nice to my friend Ed, and I'll also come on a TV show and maybe kind of, become famous. Who knows? But she seems really down to earth and nice, and she honestly seems to have real true feelings for Ed. Now, I have no idea. Sadly, she didn't spill any beans. She didn't really tell me what's going on in present day. She kept it to herself, so I have no idea in present day if they're still together or not, but I'm going to make kind of a two-part prediction. I'm going to guess right now that they are either engaged, which sounds kind of crazy, or they are not together. I don't think they're dating. I think it's going to be one extreme or the other. Well, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this interview. If you did enjoy this interview, please let me know in the comments below or just message me who you want me to interview next. Well, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit the comments below, and y'all better stay tuned for many more videos.